Establishing an indoor shooting range. I'm here to confess some challenges and changes and some realizations that I've had over the past approximately 2 years that I think in the end are going to be of great benefit to those who are starting out this process, are maybe already into the process and are working on their budget or trying to find real estate or working through zoning. If you're in this process and have not yet received full funding and have not broken ground, the information that I have in this video and two more after it, I think are going to be of great interest to you. Again, I'm Stuart Mullen. I've been building gun ranges for folks, really serving as their eyes, ears, and mouthpiece, advisor, consultant, fee developer, strategist, really just as a temporary CEO in this process. And so what that means is that I have refused and not been hired to just do a business plan, to just show you the numbers, to just work on your floor plan, site plan design, or help you coordinate with your architect or help you with your range equipment selection. I do all of those things historically in a turnkey manner. And so my fees have been tied to the success of getting through this process. Well, my frustration started about 2 years ago when I just got tired of repeating myself, having a same conversation about real estate or a design feature within the retail space or which POS system to go with or how to brand or market. I mean, all of these are issues and topics that you are going to encounter along the way. And I have a limited amount of time. And so 2 years ago, I started documenting what this process looks like. And I started documenting it when I was building a couple of the ranges that are logoed here on the screen. So, what did that documentation look like? Let me show you. I didn't know what I was doing in terms of the reason behind why I was documenting the process of processes to get these gun ranges established. But let me give you a quick overview. This is 14 subject matters, chapters, if you will. If someone was going to write a book, it would need to include at least these 14 subjects. And what you see over off to the left is these parent-child relationships. So under the topic of discovery, we got to get through vision and ideas and the business plan, legal engagement with an architect and setting up your operating entity. And the list goes on and on and on. I'll click, let's click on retail. Huge issue. Ideas, concepts, links to other professionals that know more about retail operations than I do because they've been living in that space for decades. And then, for example, retail sales, let's get down to like POS system. Okay, what are the options for POS systems? Orchid Advisors, Bravo, Coreware. Here's all the links. Here's all the information. Here is effectively all of the research that I have compiled along with an example of, pricing for a new retail space. Well, here's the total quote for Axis under that given scenario for their POS system, software, hardware, etc. So what does all this mean? Why did I start documenting it? Well, I got tired of repeating myself. I'd have a conversation about POS one day and then again the next. And long story short, the idea that I now have that I'm rolling out in the next 30 days is the online range development conference. And this is not a sales pitch for range equipment. I spend 10% of my time on actual shooting range, ballistic and HVAC equipment. And I hope you realize and you come away from this first video with this tidbit, this pro tip, this insight. As you get into and through this process of getting the doors open on your shooting range, you're not going to spend more than 10% of your time on range equipment. I hope that is an eye-opener. It is a reality that most people, even when they engage me, don't realize until we're a month or two into these discussions and working through the issues, which I'll talk more about when I share the outline of the online range conference with you. All of these videos, if you're looking to learn about bullet traps and target retrievers, you're watching the wrong videos, because I'm not going to be talking about them. They are just like wheels and tires on a vehicle. You got to have them to make it go down the road or to roll down the road. But there is the chassis, the frame, the motor, the suspension, all of the other things that make it happen, get it to the road. You need the wheels and tires. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dismissing them. You have to have them, but that's not where you're going to spend the majority of your time. If you don't like that, then you're not going to like this process. You got to embrace all of these other issues. You see here, the 14 chapters. Here's shooting range equipment and shooting range HVAC right below it, right? And that's it. It's just an incremental part of this entire process. So you're welcome. Pro tip number 1. So what does this other 1,000 line items of information contain? Well, it's my insights, recommendations, lessons learned, photographs, examples of floor plans, contract documents, just the encyclopedic amount of information that it takes to build a shooting range. So if you're not overwhelmed, that's great. You should be, because there's a lot that's coming. But let me refocus here on this offer of the Online Range Development Conference, which is unlike any kind of conference that you might be offered or have attended with a range equipment manufacturer, because they're going to spend a meaningful portion of their time talking about the wheels and tires, the range equipment. Great. Learn it, embrace it, get it sorted out, but understand pragmatically for you to sign a contract and then provide them with a deposit and actually lock your price in for that range equipment, you've got to do all the things I spend 90+% of my time doing. You've got to get that work done. So check it off the list and then move into what you really have got to get done. So let me give you a little bit of context on me, and then we will work through these next couple of videos to cover exactly what's offered within the modules of the range conference, and go through the outline just very briefly, and then talk about the bonus material that I have for you, and then the cost. So I have more exposure, experience. I've negotiated more deals, including real estate in markets around the country, cities, towns, helped structure those real estate acquisitions. I've been more involved in setting the framework for the architectural design team that's going to lay out the shooting range, because they are impacted by the site that we select. And what you'll see is my perspective and my view on this entire process is comprehensive, because I'm thinking about the implications of your vision that it's going to have on the budget and the floor plan, and the floor plan is going to have on the site plan, and the ripple effect all through this process into operations. It's a comprehensive look. It's the only way I've viewed this process historically to date. And so this opportunity to roll out this, at least the initial information within those chapters of discovery and planning and budgeting and pro forma, that's all we're doing. That's all we're covering. Implementation is the other 12 chapters, comes later, to ensure that you don't get into implementation and find yourself having to backtrack, costing yourself time and money. The systematic approach to the offering that's within the range conference here is very intentional. It's very strategic. It is your best path, the optimized opportunity to survive this process. How do you survive it? You leverage your resources, which are your time, your money, your knowledge, and your relationships. Those 4 things, if you can leverage them right, you have a much greater likelihood of success in establishing your shooting range, a successful shooting range. So stay tuned for the next couple of videos. I'll cover and dive into some more details. This slide here covers the comment or the idea that I've been more involved with more range industry firms, manufacturers, consultants, uh, you name it. The list goes far beyond just this one. And my advice and guidance really is for you to become a more successful range owner operator. That is my role here. I don't look to engage a team. My background is varied, but it includes commercial real estate, and that skill set is really leveraged with the knowledge that I've acquired, both from a city planning perspective and then also within this niche of establishing shooting ranges. It's a really unique perspective for anybody who thinks that they're comparable or competitive with my knowledge and skill set. They are misled, and or they are misleading you, maybe unintentionally, maybe not. But I sit in unique space, not because I have great brain power, but just because I have a unique background. My experience is just very unique. So I'm here to help serve and get you on your way to establishing your shooting range. Stay tuned for the second video in this 3-part series.